Now, from the studios of Into Tomorrow in Miami, this is ITTV.
Our next guest company develops smart telescopes that enable exploration of the universe, even in the city, despite what they call light pollution. You probably know what I mean. If you've ever tried to use a telescope and you're in a city and there's nothing but lights around, you can't see anything. Well, apparently they've found a way to solve that problem. The CEO and co-founder of a company called Unistellar is Laurent Marfisi. Laurent, welcome Into Tomorrow. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here, Dave.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. I know that you guys were exhibiting at the Showstoppers event at IFA and showing some really cool products. First of all, what is a smart telescope? I mean, that got our attention right there.
Yeah, it's a category we introduced a few years ago when we first unveiled our concept at the time, a few years ago. For us, a smart telescope is three key things. First of all, it has to be a super powerful telescope. A telescope that is able to reveal objects that you would not be able to see with a classical traditional telescopes. Those objects are hundreds of galaxies, nebulae, comets. So the smart telescope is not limited anymore to the few main planets and the moon. And the second thing is it has to be extremely handy, extremely easy to use. And our smart telescopes are able to orient themselves in the sky, recognize the stars. From there they propose what's interesting to see. And upon your choice of target, they can just point at them, track them as the sky moves, and provide contextual information so that you can start on a journey into astronomy without even having previous knowledge of it.
So in other words, if I want to see Mars or something, right, I can just insert that into the smart telescope and it finds Mars for me?
Exactly. Yeah. It will be able to find its way in the sky and show Mars to you and give you contextual information about what's happening there, what's the size of the planet, etc.
Nice. Well, then that makes sense. I mean, a smart telescope. Does the smart telescope concept make a difference in trying to use it perhaps in a city?
So definitely we want to make those telescopes. We make those telescopes for consumers, and we figured that consumers actually tend to live in cities.
Right.
The most part of us consumers live in cities, and they have trouble with light pollution. You can see it with the naked eye. When you're in the countryside, you see so many stars, as opposed to in the city where you can, well, if you're lucky, you can see a few handfuls of stars. Well, we developed a very advanced image processing technologies that allow us to reveal all those very faint objects that normally you cannot see in city. And those objects are indeed the galaxies, the comets, those mysterious objects that are full of colors, very aesthetically mysterious, but also which hold the key to the laws of the universe, the formation of planets, etc.
That's very cool because, for example, here in Miami, we have to go pretty much to the edge of the Everglades where there's no light and then try to see. It's amazing, too. If you're traveling out that way and you look up, you say, oh, my gosh, there really are stars in the sky. Because in the city with light pollution, as you say, it's very, very difficult to see. But the smart telescope can get beyond those city lights, right? You don't have to go out to the edge of the Everglades, or in your case, you're in France, you don't have to go outside a city so far in order to see these things that we do want to see in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. We find the smart telescope is a good way to stay connected with the sky, because the sky, the stars are not accessible from cities anymore.
Yeah.
So with the telescope, you can maintain that connection, even though we all love to have those beautiful starry skies, and every once in a while we do take the car and go far to see them, you will be able to see even more performance. Our telescope will still be better from the countryside indeed, But the real new thing is you can really get serious with astronomy, even from cities with our instruments.
Wow. So whether you're currently serious about astronomy or not, you can get that way with
Yeah,
a smart
exactly.
telescope because of all the cool things. Is that part of the news that you presented at the IFA Showstoppers event?
Well, we talked about two news at the IFA. We talked about this amazing result we have. We started to a partnership with NASA and other scientific institutions, and we had our first results in March this year, where we got a scientific publication in the journal Nature
Very nice.
involving 30 of our users. Most of them, they were newcomers to astronomy. They started astronomy with our telescopes, and they were compelled by this citizen science, this easy to access citizen science program we developed. And they made discoveries, and they were named together with the scientists with whom they collaborated in this article. So that was a big achievement for us, allowing people like a father and his daughter observing together for NASA from their backyard, etc.
Nice.
But that added another key element to our product offering, to our service, the services our product offers. And we announced the solar filter, the first solar filter for smart telescopes that will enable people to enjoy the enhanced activity that the sun is entering right now, with a lot of sunspots appearing on its surface.
Oh, wow. And of course, now let me remind everyone listening that you're showing us this cool new solar filter that apparently would attach to the telescope, right?
Exactly,
And
yeah.
therefore protect your eyes to be able to see what's going on with these sunspots, which has got to be very cool.
Yeah. Actually, the sunspot add an element of three-dimensionality when you observe, because you see them with perspective, and the sun really appears like a ball when you see sunspots on it.
That's very true. I'm curious too, Laurent, what's your highlight, if you will, of observing space? I find that people, either after they've left perhaps a planetarium, or they have a friend with a telescope, or they're smart enough now to have their own Unistellar telescope, where the first reaction is, wow, I got to see fill in the blank, and to them, that was an amazing highlight. Do you have a particular highlight of observing space?
I'd have two. I think the moon is really a must-see.
Yeah, of
And
course.
the good thing about the moon is, even with a simple telescope, with little knowledge, you can point at it and see it. And it's amazing to see those mountains, these formations on the moon. And the second thing is, I really like to see a galaxy. And these objects you are able to see with smart telescopes like ours. And galaxies really give you a perspective. It's a philosophical perspective, because it looks like a small object in your telescope. But when you realize that it's billions and billions of stars, and that it's a place that is similar like our galaxy, and when you start to envision that maybe there is life there, maybe there is other life forms that maybe also have a telescope, that maybe are watching another galaxy, maybe a galaxy that is our galaxy.
They're looking back at us, perhaps, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I like this this mirroring and metaphysical element of looking very far into galaxies with a telescope.
Oh, for sure. Do you have multiple models, or do you have just one in particular at this point?
We have two models. We have a high-end model with a little bit higher resolution and very high quality eyepiece that we developed in partnership with Nikon.
Oh, wow.
And it's at $5,000. And we have another model at $2,500 that is has a little bit lower resolution, imaging resolution, but it doesn't have the eyepiece, but it's still a very, very good product if you're on a budget.
Got you. So starting at $2,500 and no doubt more to come as you do even more innovative things. Which is the one behind you that folks are looking at if they're at intotomorrow.com?
Higher end model.
That's the high end. Terrific. And they're available now, both models?
Exactly. Available at B&H, on our websites, on many resellers and distributors. Hypon Scientific for those who are more used to telescopes.
Yeah. Well, we wish you well because you're doing some unique things and helping folks literally observe space. And no more excuses if you're not out in the country, because you can do it from the city with Laurent's team. And check them out at Unistellar.com. It's Unistellar, Unistellar.com. We'll get you there, of course. Laurent Marfisi is the CEO and co-founder of Unistellar. Thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to getting you back again, because no doubt you're going to have more products available. You'll maybe be able to wave at someone in another galaxy and they'll wave back. Do you have the ability to take pictures with your cell phone or any videos?
Definitely. Yeah, you can take pictures directly with the telescope and share them.
Excellent. I think that's very, very helpful too, because then folks can post them on their anti-social media and say, look, this is something interesting for a change, instead of just showing you what I ate tonight, or something. So keep up the good work, Laurent.
Thank you very much, Dave.
It's our pleasure. Again, you want to visit their site at Unistellar.com. We'll get you there, as we do with all of our guests, when you hit us up and you want to see this video too, at intotomorrow.com. I'm Dave Graveline. More coverage from IFA 2023 from Berlin, Germany. You want to stay tuned. We're spreading it out over several weeks so we can talk to as many guests, exhibitors, and talk about new products and show them to you with video of all these interviews as well. So join us at intotomorrow.com. I'm Dave Graveline. Stay tuned. As I say, more to come here on the Advanced Media Network.